My name is Rose Riley, and I'm a member of the League of Women Voters of Washtenaw County. Welcome to our online candidate forum for the November 5th general election. The League is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization that promotes voter education and participation, and we host candidate forums to help voters make informed choices. Now, let's hear from the candidates.
Good evening. My name is Donna Snyder, and I will moderate the forum tonight. It's my honor to introduce the candidates running in the November general election for Washtenaw County Treasurer, Democrat Letitia Sharp and Republican Rob Zimmerman. Thank you, candidates, for participating in this forum. We're now ready for your opening statements. Ms. Sharp, please begin.
Greetings, and thank you, League of Women Voters, for hosting this forum. My name is Letitia Sharp, and I'm a proud Michigander and resident of Ypsilanti Township. I'm a public servant employed in Washtenaw County for over 35 years. My professional career includes policy development, grant management, procurement, budget allocations, and assuring financial responsibility. I have overseen various revenue streams for Washtenaw County, and I understand the county's financial structure and business operations. Additionally, I'm a member of the Nutrizone Board of Directors and Human Resources Committee. I hold a bachelor's degree from Eastern Michigan University, and I'm an active member of the Government Finance Officers Association, which aligns with the role of treasurer. I'm running for county treasurer to ensure that public funds are protected, property taxes are collected effectively, homeownership and foreclosure prevention programs are advanced, community partnerships are formed, and state laws are followed. I bring passion, experience, and leadership to this role, and I'm ready to serve the people of Washtenaw County as treasurer. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Zimmerman, may we have your opening statement?
I'm Rob Zimmerman, candidate for Washtenaw County Treasurer. I'd like to thank the League for sponsoring this forum and congratulate my opponent for her primary victory. I'm honored to have earned my party's nomination in a contested primary with a considerable margin over my opponent. It's a most rewarding endorsement to have such overwhelming support from independent and objective-minded voters who know our challenges. Our family relocated here by choice over 30 years ago from the town of my youth. Sale of my employer to an overseas company was the inflection point for us to look around. We found Washtenaw County able to offer superior educational and professional opportunities at affordable costs versus other areas that we were considering. We came from a remote county of Pennsylvania that had no 2- or 4-year post-secondary colleges. As a teenager, I was fortunate to start my journey by earning college admission via summer school program at a college about 150 miles from my home and family. At my new Washtenaw employer, one of my first assignments was to secure a location for a startup plant. Further recognizing Washtenaw's competitive advantages, I led work towards securing a Washtenaw County site versus neighboring areas, placing over 200 jobs here. Other professional opportunities fall in Southeast Michigan, where private sector employment offered its rewards and risks, roles including my CPA, roles that utilize my CPA certification, MBA in finance included division controller, director of finance, and chief financial officer. My wife has utilized her Eastern Michigan education and certification to develop her private practice working with special needs youth. We've also raised 2 adult daughters who have relocated from Washtenaw to secure professional opportunities.
Thank you, candidates. And the first question, we'll start with Mr. Zimmerman. How would you describe the legal duties of the county treasurer?
The most important responsibility of the treasurer is to follow the law. And in terms of its collection of taxes, it's management of the finances according to the policy the investment policy has been provided, and to ensure that the assets of our county are properly safeguarded in every way possible. It's not just custodian of the individual assets or protection of the balance sheet and in that manner, but it also goes to ensuring that we are able to have the safeguards and internal controls over how we spend and how we collect in a manner that supports our great county.
Ms. Sharp, same question.
I believe the Washtenaw County treasurer's role. The Washtenaw County treasurer's role in legal role is to, first, the Washtenaw County treasurer is a Michigan state a state of Michigan, I'm sorry, employees. They're under the state of Michigan Constitution. They're authorized to do the work under the Constitution of the state of Michigan. That means that the state of Michigan sets the rules and regulations for how the banking and investments are done. And so the county treasurer must follow those rules and regulations. And that is where they would, in everything they do, collection of the money, advancement of whether they do the tax collections or when they do investments, they must follow the state statutes as a state statute officer.
The next question we'll begin with you, Ms. Sharp. What measures would you take to ensure transparency and accountability in managing county funds?
Well, county funds can come into the county different ways. So it can be through electronic transfer, HCA, over the counter, deposited to banks. And it can come checks in the mail, it can come different ways. And the county treasurer is responsible for the handling of all those funds. And so the safeguarding is to keep what we have in place, but add more safeguarding around the technology that's currently in there. What I mean is that currently Washtenaw County there's a lot of things that's happening where funds may come, there's bad actors out there. So they can steal identifications, they can enter into bank accounts and things like that. So as the county treasurer is safeguarding these funds, they have to make sure that all of the other things that are in place, that they're able to grow as the technology changes, that those technology streams remain intact, so that if any of those things happen, that they will be able to continue to safeguard the funds that come into the county.
Mr. Zimmerman, same question. You're muted, Mr. Zimmerman.
In terms of transparency, I'd like to turn on my mic. That would help. I'd like to ensure that our invoices for property taxes have a thorough description of what our county taxes are for. Right now, it's just a lump that says county tax. And that's, in my opinion, is a disservice to the individual voters and doesn't describe truly what the taxes that they're paying are earmarked towards. I'd also like to ensure that our townships and cities all have a capability of paying by credit card. At this time, not all of them do. And I think that's a vital thing to helping serve the public and providing options in terms of how they elect to pay, and instead of just ensuring that they can pay by check at the time of taxes or due or via an escrow company. I think it's important that we are able to meet our taxpayers where they are and be able to provide transparency through every step of the process that we go through with them should there be a delinquency, and certainly include our transparency to what we spend as a county in terms of providing a detailed accounting to the individual townships and cities, which is something we currently do not do according to all the township treasurers.
Mr. Zimmerman, this next question will start with you. The county's annual general fund revenues exceed $148 million. What experience or education prepares you to oversee public funds of this magnitude?
I'd like to think I've had some exceptional private industry experience with organizations where my financial organization included up to 28 people in that organization. So I am able to manage people of that magnitude, and have I have served in companies that are up to 25 billion of sales as controller for some of their operations. One of the operations where I was director of finance was $300 million in revenue, and that's the one where I had the 28 employees in my group. I'd like to think that things went well, and were able to do what we needed to do as a group, and able to provide accountability for our our actions, because certainly we were audited annually by a number of different organizations in a number of different countries in which we operated. My education background includes an MBA in finance. I have a CPA certificate from Illinois, and also my bachelor's degree is in economics and business. My master's is in accounting and finance, and I've passed the CPA exam a number of years ago.
Ms. Sharp, same question.
The question is, how would I manage the 1.4? What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Yes. The county's annual general fund revenues exceed $148 million. What experience or education prepares you to oversee public funds of this magnitude?
Okay. The county treasurer's job for overseeing those funds is mandated by the state of Michigan. So the state of Michigan actually sets the policies and what you can invest in and how the banking that is involved with handling those funds. Also, any transactions that the county treasurer does has to be approved by the Board of Commissioners in terms of setting banking accounts or investment accounts or things like that. I come with experience in understanding who does what in Washtenaw County. The county treasurer's main job is to receive all the money that comes into the county and safeguard it in terms of making sure that it's receipted and collected. The county treasurer is not responsible for budgeting that money. My experience is understanding the structure, the financial structure in the county. The CFO and county administration sets the budgets, and the Board of Commissioners approves those budgets. The county treasurer does not have any authority any free authority in applying those funds, only to safeguard those funds when they come into the county, make sure that they are receipted and they are collected, not budgeted for or allocate or responsible for the allocation. The county treasurer is to receive those funds and to record them.
Ms. Sharp, this question will be for you to start with. The county treasurer collects and safeguards county funds, which you have mentioned. What criteria would you use in adopting investment strategies for the county's funds?
The investment strategies that currently the county has is safety first. So Washtenaw County is these are the people's funds. And so when we invest funds, we invest them where we're looking at safety first, then liquidity, then yield. So when we even approach to invest funds, again, those are done with the approval of the Board of Commissioners, and they take part in that. The county treasurer does develop the policy, the investment policy, but that policy is approved by the board. It's presented to the board, it's approved by the board, and it becomes part of the county records. But that would be my actions towards that.
Mr. Zimmerman, same question.
My first thing that I would look at upon a deeper dive into the county investment balance sheet would to be ensure that we have the liquidity for all of our assets, and frankly, that we can throw off enough capital and interest, dividends, etc., to be able to fund the operations and the commitments that our county has made. And so the worst thing that we could possibly do is have us be, in effect, burning the furniture to heat the house, in terms of should there be an unfortunate calamity that we are forced to sell something that's really tough to sell. And I would do everything to avoid us being in that predicament. And that would ensure that we have the adequate returns on what we are looking for from a treasury standpoint to cover our obligations on an ongoing basis, and be able to sell any positions that we have to do from a position of strength rather than a position of weakness. Ensure that we certainly follow the investment policy. It may not describe every last I to be dotted and T to be crossed. I'd also like to pursue areas to where we do have a bit of discretion in certain areas. Certainly, there are some areas where we have a defined benefit program that we have to manage for our pensions, and defined contribution areas where we have opportunities for our pensions that where perhaps we can get a better return than for our pensioners than what they may be able to do elsewhere. I'd also like to see where we can be creative in terms of putting some of our investment pools into some private areas could fund the growth of our community in terms of where we can help fund our skilled trades, our small businesses and entrepreneurs, not in a more not in a manner that would not necessarily have us competing with the Sand Hill Road folks, but being able to provide our local folks with local funding that's a different source from what their banks are, but certainly in a prudent and a manner that would support the integrity of that investment.
Mr. Zimmerman, the next question is, the Treasurer's Office engages with the public when collecting delinquent property taxes. What, if any, procedural changes should be made in the collection of delinquent taxes so as to balance the rights of the delinquent property owner with the interests of all taxpayers?
We'll follow the law, and that gives us the things that we have to do, and that will be followed. And certainly, if we see areas that the law seems to be unfairly situated one way or the other, we'll speak up to the people that have an opportunity to relook that law and be able to potentially revise it accordingly. Every notice opportunity should be followed in terms of communicating with the public, and that should an unfortunate event such as a foreclosure happen, that we have to be have every bit of comfort that we have followed every step that we possibly could before we take somebody out of their home, because that's just a terrible situation. And ideally we can get ahead of things here by noticing if people are starting to get behind of where we are able to work with somebody ahead of time. I'd also like to see us look at being able to provide our new home purchasers or those coming into our county with an opportunity to look at some of the financial benchmarks and be able to self-assess before they get into a situation where there would be a late payment or delinquent or a delinquency.
Ms. Sharp, same question.
The issue of foreclosure here in Washtenaw County is really at a really low, because there's lots of current programs that are in place right now that that is one of the things that's really been championed in our treasurer's office. So prevention has never been, it's really low right now. The sheriff sales are low and the housing market is really strong. The county has put in place a foreclosure court. So the foreclosures that we do have is the first one in the state to have a foreclosure court that's committed to all things foreclosure and work with the clients and that. As far as delinquent taxes, right now the county treasurer works really well with the local units of government. And those relationships take a long time to build. So currently we have a collection when a person has collections notices and they don't pay their bills, the county treasurer works with the local units. And right now we end up getting, last year I think we got $3 million in that period of time, so we didn't have to foreclose. Our goal in Washtenaw County is never to foreclose. And we know that the most affordable house that people have is the one that they live in. So we work really hard with the local units of government to try to help people not foreclose on their homes. And in the event that that is the case and they do have to foreclose, we're also there to help them with resources. Sometimes when they foreclose, there may be a surplus in the sale. And so we make sure that if that is the case, that they have the legal documents that they need to be able to get those monies. So we try to work really hard with delinquent taxes. And right now we really work close with the local units of government. This is where I have already developed relationships with a lot of these units, particularly the ones that have the high delinquent tax rates. And so it would be really easy for me to just transfer to another area of government to continue those relationships. And that's what it takes. And at the end of the day, we have citizens staying in their homes. We're able to collect the money that they owe, and we're never looking to get folks out of their home. Within the last couple years or so, the foreclosure actually process of 6,000 homes, they only foreclosed on 5. And
Thank you, Ms. Sharp. I'm going to have to cut you off now. We have one more question. This will be the last question, and it's for you to begin with, Ms. Sharp. What are the 1 or 2 most significant financial challenges the county currently faces? How would you approach resolving them?
I would say housing. Housing is a major issue here in Washtenaw County. We hear it, we know it. It's not just significant to Washtenaw County. It's actually across the state, even across the country. And so this is why, like I said earlier, it would be important to me to work with our residents to keep them in their homes, because oftentimes the affordable home is the one that you currently live in. And so I would work to extend some programs, and work with them to understand that when you purchase a home, maybe partner with other agencies to, when you purchase a home, that you understand the full cost of purchasing a home. So all the interest rates and all the education that comes with the purchase of that home. So that would kind of offset some folks possibly getting into trouble. So I would like to see a little education around that. And another challenge that we have is there's a recession on the rise. So there would be folks that will have trouble, that's not had trouble in the past paying their bills. So we want to get ahead of that. And when we see things like that, we want to, again, partner with the local units to try to reach those folks before they get into any kind of situation. And so we know that that as people, as we move forward as a county, right now things may be doing well, but for what's good for one person, not necessarily be good for another person. So we have some folks that are on fixed incomes. And so with the millages that are on the ballot, if they go up, those folks will be, they may be in trouble. And because you could own your own home and still have issues with paying your taxes because you're on a fixed income. So we want to support our seniors or folks who are in those situations. And so, as well as those who are first-time homeowners, interest rates are low, that's great for them. But if you're a homeowner and interest rates are low and you're trying to sell, that's not so good for you. So that's how I would work to assist them with that.
Mr. Zimmerman, same question.
I share my opponent's perspective that housing affordability is the major issue facing Washtenaw County. I differ in terms of how I would like to address this issue because the supply is insufficient, but the demand is over the top. And we need to provide, if we're going to provide a balance and relief, we simply need more housing stock. What I would do is try to encourage the formation of a housing coalition of builders, developers throughout our county and also other areas of government that would help be able to bring our costs in line with the rest of the country. It is a nationwide issue, but we feel it most acutely in Washtenaw because we have such a high renter population that really are paying far more than necessary because our universities that are not paying taxes are able to raise their housing dorm costs because so many international students they can afford to pay, that then trickles down to the rest of our community. We've got to be able to develop more affordable housing, and when a quarter of the cost of a home is in the regulations to build it, and let alone the high interest rates that we have are felt by not only the buyers but also the developers that are carrying that cost, it is very important to have us address all aspects of the affordable housing. And I'll look forward to having some of my solutions in my concluding comments, because we truly have to get ahead of this, because we are losing population for the first time in 100 years. And even the city of Detroit, the county of Livingston, and places like Dundee are growing, and we are not. We've gone down 6,300 people since the 2020 census, and that is just not what, and it's in areas where we have our poorest people leaving the area.
Thank you, candidates, for your responses to the questions. And now we will have your closing statements, beginning with Ms. Sharp.
The primary responsibilities of the county treasurer, including safeguarding public funds and overseeing the county's investments, responsibilities I'm ready to undertake with confidence. My institutional knowledge of the county as an organization and its financial structure, business operations, and community focus distinguish me as a good candidate. As county treasurer, I'm prepared to hit the ground running and bring a fresh perspective while retaining the solid financial safeguards that are now in place. My priorities will focus on people and public service, property and investments, programs, partnerships, and public policy. My name is Letitia Lamel Sharp. I'm a Democrat, but I'm ready to take the oath to serve all citizens of Washtenaw County to the best of my ability. I thank you for your time, League of Women Voters, and I look for everyone to meet me at the polls on November 5th. Let's make history together and cast your vote for Letitia Lamel Sharp for Washtenaw County Treasurer. Thank you.
Mr. Zimmerman, may we have your closing statement, please?
Okay. Washtenaw County is at a tipping point. We're losing population, and we are in the top 10 of Michigan counties for the loss percentage that we have. Ann Arbor City's down 3.4%, Ypsilanti City's down 5.9% are the most notable areas, where other areas surrounding us have gone up in population. The astronomical housing costs are the leading factor for people voting with their feet. Black and Hispanic households and single-family households with children are down in Ann Arbor from 20 years ago. The very folks our progressive policies are targeted to help are moving out. Yet Washtenaw seems to perpetually rubber stamp new millages and renewals, unconscionable to the 78% of us who identify as living paycheck to paycheck. Ann Arbor's high cost of living is 15% higher than the Michigan average, and with the average house price is 55% higher. Our solutions are innovating and growing our housing supply. We have to grow our small businesses, our entrepreneurs, and skilled trades who build our housing and maintain our infrastructure. As our county's chief investment officers, I'll work to innovatively fund not only these groups and also include the overlooked areas that are prudent investments. South Carolina has a specific state-sponsored funds targeting women and minority-owned businesses. Why can't Washtenaw do the same? Insufficient housing supply is a nationwide issue. We have to compete accordingly. We are being outperformed by the rest of the nation. We have to collaborate and partner with our stakeholders, because our county is appropriately needs to grow and develop, and I would be the catalyst to help make that happen. I thank you for your support and look forward to earning it on November 5th or before. Thank you so much to the League for their support of this effort.
Thank you both for participating in this valuable session.
Thank you.
The League thanks the candidates and volunteers who participated in today's forum and the community members who submitted questions. Please urge others to view our forums. And most importantly, please vote in the November 5th general election, either by absentee ballot or in person.